Okay, wow. What an interesting week. As you may or may not be aware, you've probably seen Michelle's video of yesterday. She's now in hospital. Originally sent in there because we were quite concerned, her sister and myself were quite concerned about dehydration. It was quite obvious. There was a lot of stuff going on, and things that you should watch out for if you're doing this as well, and that is, dark urine. Obviously, just the count of the liquids that have been taken in have been extremely low. The dry mouth, dizzy spells, the basically got to a point where it was constant dry reaching. Nothing that was coming down could be tolerated very well. So we made the call that it just had to happen. She just had to go in. Better to be safe than sorry, and thankfully we were, because all of the other things that we found out that needed to happen, infections and so forth that she's got, if we had left I think too much longer, we would have been in a bit of trouble. So apparently a common complication, which we didn't even know about after all the research that we've done, so it's something to be aware of, but a common complication was issues with the gallbladder. And this is not with the gastric bypass, or the sleeve I should say, which not with gastric sleeve, which is what I had, but with the bypass, which is again obviously what Michelle had. So two different types of surgeries, but with the bypass there are quite often gallbladder issues, and apparently it's a mix of whether surgeons decide to remove them already whilst doing the surgery. However, there was no signs that there was anything wrong with it for Michelle, so there was no real necessity. So it's just something that happens. But it is something worth watching out for. So it's a bit of a lonely weekend. She's been in there all weekend, and will probably be in there for a few more days yet. And but hopefully once back, we'll be able to get smack bang into it. But dehydration is a big thing to watch out for. We were told about it. It's been happening to me. After the heavy rides that I've been doing, I have to make sure that I get an absolute load of liquids into me, because if I don't, I end up dizzy and I end up quite not feeling very well. One of the big signs is if you're not sweating. So usually, and especially when I was larger, I'm a very big sweater and would sweat all the time, but I was also drinking a lot back then too. I find I'm sweating a lot less at the moment. Summer's going to be very interesting, and I was sweating a lot less than I normally would after the ride, so that was a bit of a telltale sign as well. So you've got to make sure you get plenty of liquids in before you exercise, and plenty of liquids after you've exercised as well. And the simple fact is, you can only take a few sips at a time. I am struggling with water. I have a real big problem trying to drink water, and it's not because I don't like water. I love water. I've been drinking water all my life. I usually would down 2 or 3 bottles a day, 600 ml bottles a day without a worry. It's actually uncomfortable drinking the water. I could take 2 or 3 sips, and then I feel uncomfortable for about 5-6 minutes before I can take any more. And then that just leads you to forget about it. So you go, I'm going to get some water, and you take some water and you feel uncomfortable. So funnily enough, flavoured water is not too bad. 0 sugar flavoured water, 0 sugar Powerades and Gatorades are not too bad either. Not great. I don't sink them down really that fast. The fastest liquid I can get down is milk, and I think that's got to do with an alkaline property to it. It's more alkaline than the actual water itself. So I can do a litre of milk in about half an hour without really any concern whatsoever. There's obviously calories that come along with that, and I do the low fat milk, but it does, at the end of the day, a litre of milk also just gets my calcium requirements for the day too. So I pretty much stick to that as well. Trying to I usually have a litre of milk about half an hour after dinner, and a litre of milk about half an hour after breakfast. Not litre, sorry, 500 mils. just after breakfast and after dinner. Okay, so time for the weigh-in. So I've already done it this morning. I won't bother boring you with the pictures of me standing on a scale again. But the good news is 2.4 kilo loss this week. So really came out raging again. That puts me to 138.1 kilos. I have broken the 140 mark, which I'm very, very happy about. So that's really, really good. And I am 25 kilos down. So since I started this adventure, so that's massive. It's I don't know how I was walking around with an extra 25 kilos on my back. There are significant differences at the moment in my life. The bike riding is going very well. I can actually ride between 8 and 12 kilometers a day, depending on how I feel, and also depending on the weather. But not only am I riding those kilometers, I'm enjoying it immensely. Just being out in the fresh air, being out in the countryside, where I live. It's basically you're riding into the countryside about 5 minutes after you get on the bike, so it's fantastic. And I'm really looking forward to getting out into some of the big rail trails that they have around here once the lockdown has ended. We were going to go for a 25 kilometre ride this weekend, but for obvious reasons we can't. So I spent the entirety of my weekend actually giving the house a good deep clean, which was a whole lot of fun. And again, ironically, the changes between, when I was 25 kilos heavier, we did morning clean in the household on a Saturday morning, and then that was it. I was pretty much exhausted for the rest of the day. This weekend, I've just done 2 solid days of it, and I feel fine. It's a bit tiring, and a bit boring, but I don't feel exhausted, and I don't feel like rubbish that I just need to spread out on the couch for the rest of the day. So, there's definitely a healthier feeling right now, and I'm really, really happy about that. So that's pretty much it. Back on track. I'm really happy about that. We're just gonna get Michelle back on track for no medical issues and just being able to do the norm. We'll see what brings out next week. It's one more thing I remember. On the Saturday night, after we did a whole household day's worth of cleaning and some deep cleaning in some rooms, I decided that Jordan could have a treat, and I said to her that she can have some McDonald's if she wanted to. So she ordered a large McChicken meal with a Coke Zero, and I went down to get it for her, and I ordered that for her, and then ordered a cheeseburger for myself. The little cheeseburgers, which I thought was quite ironic. So I get home, she takes her meal and I take mine, and this is the first time in, I think it's 8 weeks, maybe 10 weeks, that I've had bread. I haven't had bread in 10 weeks, so I actually had the whole lot. I had the burger with the bun, as in I didn't separate it, didn't do anything, just to see what it would be like. And nothing went wrong, nothing was disastrous, nothing rocked my world about it. It wasn't a feeling of, oh wow, that was just so fantastic, I was able to have McDonald's after 10 weeks. I had 2/3 of the burger. It's certainly a bit different when you got to eat it and you've really got to just keep chewing and chewing and chewing and chewing and chewing. That kind of takes away any of the previous enjoyment that you'd have eating that kind of food. So I did that, had 2/3 of it and pretty much had my fill. Gave the rest of it to the dog and just sort of sat there feeling for the next sort of half an hour. So I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I actually had a crack at it, because it's always sort of sitting out there waiting for it to happen, and it's something that you remember. The days when we're just ordering way too much takeout. I've got no desire to get it again. I pretty confident that I can say I won't be going through a drive-through for myself anytime soon. It had absolutely no appeal to me whatsoever, and looking at something like KFC and any of that sort of stuff, I'm not really interested in that either. So that was good. I'm kind of glad that happened. So that was my takeout adventure after 10 or so weeks. All right, well, time to go. We'll catch up with you next week. Should be both of us sitting here with any luck, and she should be quite nicely healing. So at least after this operation, she won't have to go onto a liquid diet or anything. She'll still be able to do what we normally do. Okay, take it easy. Talk soon.